Hey there, Thrivers. Welcome to another episode of Cloud Thrive, where up here we continue to build strong, rise with intention, and thrive with courage and confidence. Always. So, today's episode, we are going to be talking about breaking through self-doubt. It's one of those things that we all suffer with at one point or another. We are challenged with this. Before we jump into there, though, I got a couple of announcements and notes. As always, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I know. To that, I also do have the website up and running as always, buildriseandthrive.com, and you can get your build bracelets. I know I haven't really talked about it a lot on the podcast, but they are there. They've been there since a little before Christmas. We did have a couple of roadblocks getting there. Just making sure the logistics were what they needed to be. I wanted to make sure we had a seamless experience for any and everybody who were going to be placing orders. And there is a sale currently running that was going for the day after Christmas all the way through to January 6th. So keep an eye out for that. You will see them being posted, and please get them while they are available. They are going very quickly. Next, we have two rising entrepreneurs, business owners, amazing women. First, I want to share that in this space as well. First is Jessica Bridgeforth. Her company is Galilahi Beauty. She creates and develops wellness and beauty products. Her information will be in the description. And second, we have Tamika Williams, who is the owner of What Are You Crafting For? She is a hand artist. She's a handcrafting artist. She crochets. And so currently she is selling hats, scarves, fingerless gloves, whatever it is you want. I'm sure she can craft it. So I will also put her information in the description of the video below as well. Last but not least, I want to jump into the emails that you guys sent, right? So because I'm glad, one, you didn't blast me out there in the comments just yet. We're still a small community. We are going to continue to grow. And this is actually one of those growing spaces that I need. I'm going to be open and honest with you guys, right? So 3 things that you're asking me to do on the YouTube channel, I completely accept and understand this. And this is what I will continue to work on. 1, slow down. I know no one's chasing me. I'm in no imminent danger when I'm recording, but I seem to be rushing through things. I will slow down. 2, keep it simple. I know when I become passionate or when there's like a million things running through my head, I tend to get off topic. And so I want to share with you all that I am working on that. I am honestly working on that. And when I start recording, for some reason, I start to think about the millions of other things I want to share with you all. And I find myself getting off topic very quickly, or things become a bit more abstract. So I want to be able to stay focused on where I am and what I'm speaking about and sharing with you all as we're having this conversation. And third is to dive deep and cover what the topics are. Because I do have a bit of a schedule of what topics are coming out, I kind of lean into where we may be going next. And with it, sometimes I feel like I want to go into the next part. And unfortunately, I think you guys suffer at times, right? Because then I am not allowing the conversation to happen and I'm moving too far ahead. So I hear you. I most definitely hear you. With that, those were the 3 things that you all have shared that I need to work on and improve on, and I so appreciate it. Making the transition to this virtual space, while it's not difficult, it's a challenge because I'm so used to being face-to-face with people, and I just love being around you guys. That not being able to do it is just difficult. It's just hard. So yeah, slowing down, keeping it simple, and really covering the content that I said I'm going to cover. Like, that's the whole title of the video. So just staying there. and just letting us like sit and digest that. So that's really all the announcements I had. Now let's jump into the content. How many times do we get in the thick of having conversations around achieving goals and not leaving things on the back burner? Here's another one. So I know for me, I postponed and I kept procrastinating and putting it off, and everything else was more important than just doing it and getting it out of the way and really just being great. Let me tell you something. Anchor removed all of those excuses and read me completely, because when I decided I'm going to do my podcast, Anchor was there for me for a number of reasons, but for the biggest reason, it was free. After that, I mean, everything was there. Like, all the tools were there. I was able to record what I needed. I could edit what I needed. I could get it out. It distributed everything. I thought I was going to have to sit there and reach out to Apple and reach out to Spotify and figure out all of the other podcast platforms. There are, first of all, too many to name. However, I didn't need to do that because Anchor did it for me. On top of that, I mean, there is no minimum listenership for you to earn money from your podcast. So, again, everybody can succeed, but your route to getting there is your own. However, Anchor is going to make it easier if creating the podcast is the thing to do, and that's on your list to achieve. So, stop playing, get on Anchor. I encourage it. Thanks. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. So we're talking about overcoming doubt, breaking through self-doubt, like getting over, beliefs that are really limiting where we can succeed. And what I'd like to do is just kind of go through that step-by-step process of what that could look like. Just really, really simple, because we all are able to do it, right? And you start by just identifying what are the core beliefs you have in place. And so this might be a little bit difficult, because if you're not right now working towards something, or you have a goal established that you're currently working toward, it might be a bit difficult. And if that's the case, I would say simply just write down what your beliefs are. And it could be a very casual activity. It could be, I think common one that we could talk about as we're going into New Year's is, I eat black-eyed peas because, it's tradition. There's a story behind why families eat pork or eat greens or eat black-eyed peas for dinner, closing out the first day on New Year's, right? So like, that's a belief. It's a tradition, yes, for many families, but it's also a belief. And so if I began to say, I want to be in a different country, I want to be in a different state, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to do that, but if on New Year's I can't get to black-eyed peas, collard greens, and ham, that might limit you from really just taking that step, right? So with it, we have to then start looking at, like, why is that belief there? What are we really looking at? And what is it, how did this belief become established for me to believe it in the first place? So that's one of those things that you would write down to begin to really begin to figure out. You could go through whatever beliefs you want to do this with, right? And so next, you want to start to disseminate or break that old belief. And so sometimes I realize breaking might be a bit aggressive. Like, we don't sometimes say, oh, we got to get rid of the old furniture, let's break it up, throw it out. Like, there's value there because I've held it for so long. So I can't just break it and throw it out. I might want to dissect it. I might want to dismantle. I want to go in and look at the screws, and I really want to see how I put it together, or how it was put together, and I want to undo it that way. And doing that allows for you to then see this was put together by, stories and folklore and religion and miscommunication and playing the game of telephone. Like, there could be so many reasons why your belief is where it is, because over time things have changed, they've evolved, they've transitioned, and it sounds so believable in that moment, given what space you're in or where you are, that you get to a point where you're saying, oh, okay, well then let's look at this. Let's see if this is limiting me from whatever it is I'm looking to achieve. Now, keep in mind, this is just an example. I'm literally just giving you guys an example. I am very open to whatever practice of faith you have or whatever traditions you have. No limits there. Actually, I would love it if you guys would share with me what your traditions are on New Year's, what you guys are cooking, what you guys are doing, how you celebrate, how you come together, and especially this year, what does that look like for you guys? How are you coming together? But we have to be able to dismantle and figure out how we pull apart that belief. It's made up of so many parts that we have to be able to break the stability of it. If it's limiting us from achieving greater. The next part to really reestablishing a new belief or making room for improved beliefs or enlightening spaces is to really build up a new belief. What have you learned? After you dismantled the old belief, what did you learn? Or what was learned? And it could be a positive one. You may have reinforced a belief because maybe the first belief, you only understood the basics, right? Again, I'm using the example of food here because, last night's dinner was bomb. I'm not going to lie to you. But, just think about that, right? What if we did dig deeper into why? And you had a historian look at the culture of food and how food traveled and why those, foods are as important as they are. Maybe it reinforces a more positive belief. It deepens. It's not necessarily a negative, but a negative thing to remove a limiting belief. But sometimes we need to be able to open ourselves to understanding what's beyond where we are. And to that, once you're building that new belief, you have to then, and this is the fourth step, you have to be able to strengthen that table, reinforce it. How now is this new knowledge going to play in to your this chapter in your life, right? How now I know more. Now I understand why. I understand the history of black eyed peas. I understand the history and travel of, the greens, the collard greens and the ham. And now I understand why, families in this part of the world, dine the way they do on the night of New Year's every year. It's a big thing. That's why it's a big thing. And to do that, you've opened your own self up, right? You've explored, you're here. You're not just listening to other people's traditions and mimicking or mirroring that. You really have an in-depth understanding about what you're engaging in, right? Objective thought. And so it's really important that we take time to do this. And so while I gave the example of food, one, I'm thinking about food right now. Two, New Year's is one of those things, and I eat this food all year round. So for me, I'm not only dining on this food on New Year's night. I'm not only dining on this food, once or twice a year. For me, it's, if I have a taste for black eyed peas, I'm going to eat them. If I'm having a taste for collard greens and ham, I'm going to eat it. So tell me what you think. Tell me what's on your mind, how you look at this as we go into 2021. Let me know what what you're eating, how you cook it, why it's important to you. I'm interested. I'm truly, truly interested in knowing. And leave a message. Of course, the links and everything is going to be in the description on whatever platform you're listening to Cloud Thrive. And so let's move into empowering those beliefs. Because once you've kind of transitioned into removing self-doubt and breaking through all of that, we have to look at empowering beliefs that we already had, right? It's not, just, they're there, we believe them, they're good, but take some time to really think about how you can empower those beliefs to help you when you need them most, right? We oftentimes, I think, sometimes refer to them as sayings that our elders had or wisdom that family members had before us that have kind of just been passed down, but really take some time to think about them and what they mean to you and what they mean to us. And transition how you frame what the meaning is, right? Like money doesn't grow on trees. That's usually associated with money is not limitless. Absolutely correct. However, there's value in everything we do. There's value in our time. There's value in the energy we put into something. There's value in the barter system that, it's still thriving today, really. I mean, think about that for a moment. We think about, good things come to those who wait. I think, waiting is great, but there are also times where that phrase could use a bit of context, right? You got to put the work in somewhere. And what does that look like? Let's not limit our thinking at times. Let's really take a look at how we can empower those sayings to really work for us, and change how we think about it, right? If you have a bit of conflict with thinking about transitioning how you think about these phrases positively, take a moment and figure out, who told you that saying? Who was the first person to say it? And what was your relationship to them? Because then that may speak to like how it sits with you. I know for me, like it does it all the time. Like it's uncomfortable for me to think about some of the sayings, and then you kind of look at the behavior over time. You look at that person, and you're saying, okay, this really doesn't work for me. I really need to figure out, why other people see it the way they do, because I don't see why it's so positive. And it's not something that happened overnight. It's, over years of listening and growing into that space that it became clear. I need to change. I need to figure this out. So again, share. What phrases have come your way that, started out negative when you heard them, and you've made them more positive in your life? You're making them work for you. Let me know. With that, I don't want to keep you too long. We're already going on, longer than I really wanted to. Let's keep this going. I mean, we're about to go into 2021. And with that, I want to close out. Of course, like, subscribe, share, all of the above. We're on all the massive platforms, the major platforms out there. Build the community as we continue to build strong, rise with intention, and thrive with courage and confidence. Thank you for another episode. Joining the community. And with that, I will see you on the cloud next week.